Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another podcast. And no, it's been a while since we uploaded, but the delay is all worth it. This time we have a visit from the domains of digital marketing. It's indeed the one and only Abhinav Arora. Welcome to the podcast, Abhinav.
Hi Yash, good to be here. Good to have the chance to be chatting with your audience. How have you been?
Amazing, man. What about you?
I'm doing fine. We're just getting up for our public launch that's scheduled to be tomorrow or one of these days.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of chaos that we're sifting through. It all looks pretty on the outside, but I know the kind of chaos
Mm-hmm.
that actually builds the pretty picture outside. So yeah, I was just on a call right
Yeah,
before
man.
this recording.
It
So
seems interesting, man. So, today we are going to discuss about the fake digital media gurus, digital marketing, Avalon Meta, and your journey so far. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Yep. So, for the people who don't know who Abhinav is, Abhinav, just introduce yourself in a few lines.
currently, I work as the CMO at Avalon Meta. The purpose of my life right now is to ensure as many Indians who are in the age group of around 17 to 25 get access to free quality education. And that's the purpose that we're working towards. What I've learned through my life and what I've learned through my career, and not a lot of it has come through my college, focused at letting that knowledge as well as the knowledge that Shashank and Varun have experienced through their lives by being hands-on practitioners in their fields.
Mm-hmm.
I am focused at getting that knowledge across to as many people as possible.
All right.
So this is what you'll end up knowing me for.
Amazing, man. So, I wanted to ask this question who was Abhinav before Avalon? What was he doing?
Abhinav before Avalon mm, was was focused at experimenting, dude. I mean, I wasn't any different. I was still experimenting with things. Back then, I was experimenting with communities. I was working with a startup that was connecting colleges and students in colleges. So it sort of became a community of college goers. We did it in a different approach as compared to what we did at Avalon. Then I kind of ran experiments with the audience on digital, and I found I got my hands dirty into ads super early. I
Mm-hmm.
think somewhere around 2013, 2014. And back then the ads were super cheap because not a lot of competition was there. So I kind of figured out some things there, built a lot of built a lot of leverage there. I mean, I think I was always preparing for living the digital life. It wasn't very validated back then. I mean, people did not have much
Mm-hmm.
respect, and in the sense, when people don't understand something, they cannot absorb it, they cannot respect it. So I was in a field that was very narrowed, and not a lot of people were there. The only people who had anything to do with the digital, or and the only popular field if you wanted to associate with computers back then was becoming coders.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing wasn't really there, and marketing at the max was just back then social media reach was very good. There were agencies that were writing out witty content and posting it on your Facebook pages, and that was all that was there to marketing. But
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't any way to build recurring cash flow using internet. At least it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the popular field back then. What I mean by recurring cash flow is, to run your business you need to have month on month income, right? And
Yep.
there are ecosystems that you can build. You can play with multiple tools and build multiple user flows to
Mm-hmm.
generate that. So I was playing with all of this back in my college because the college did not interest me, and that's kind of led to where I am right now. Building a
Yep.
digital community, working with digital audiences. You and I have never met. You've known me through digital. The digital ecosystem only
Mm-hmm.
expanded exponentially. Yeah, I've
Exactly.
always
Mm-hmm.
been always been getting my hands dirty in this ecosystem.
Yep. So this question would have come, somewhat later in the podcast, but I really wanted to ask you because you brought up the topic of colleges and all right. So the question is, what did you see the college students doing wrong in that point of time and in that part of their lives?
I don't think college students do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's at a tender age of 17 or 18 when you enter college. I entered college when I was a 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I barely knew what the real world is about.
Mm-hmm.
The only dreams, I mean, you can either dream by watching movies, or watching what your parents do. So I always dreamt of being a pilot because that's the only exposure I had to the external world that existed
Mm-hmm.
beyond my school. Obviously there was computer, and on computer we used to play games like GTA and cricket 2017, and
Mm-hmm.
I think what other game, car, NFS, and all of these games. This is what we grew up with. So our ambitions and what we aim to become in life comes out of that. But then I think when you hit this 10th or 12th kind of age in your life, you were pushed into engineering. So you start exploring what this field is really about, and then you end up in an engineering college. Then your teachers kind of set the career trajectory for you. Okay, you got to score good marks and you got to X, Y, and Z. It's a very linear career path.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I mean, I don't blame you I don't blame you for following that, especially when there's so much social proof around it. As in, everyone kind of validates the career path that college is suggesting. It's not students' fault at all, because they didn't know any better, but they know something's wrong when they kind of transcend into that trajectory a little further. When I mean, internet does give you exposure to a lot of things. Kind of start treading that trajectory, and you hear
Mm-hmm.
news about how your future pass outs are doing, and I mean, you start looking away from the fairy tale that the college promises you. You notice that something's wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of age group where we aim to capture attention of college youth at,
Yep.
or youth that's bound to be in college,
Mm-hmm.
and tell them that whatever you're learning here, be it civil engineering, mechanical engineering, or even computer science, this is not going to help you build your career. Because I mean, it's not that the fields are redundant. The problem is that what they're teaching is
Mm-hmm.
not what the world is. I mean, it's not what the employers, or it's not what the industry is asking for,
Mm-hmm.
and people who don't know that until they actually sit for their final interviews. So we're aiming to capture these guys and equip them with digital skills, where that forms the majority of
Mm-hmm.
economy in in especially in the metropolitan cities like
Yep.
Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, and teach them something that college hasn't prepared them for, and will never be equipped enough to prepare them for.
All right. I have this one more question, right? So the thing with Avalon Meta, right? So let's say you wanted to introduce Avalon Meta to the past you, like the you when you were in the college. How would you introduce Avalon Meta to the previous Abhinav?
How would I introduce Avalon Meta to previous Abhinav? I think that have to be with internet.
Mm-hmm.
That would have to be via internet. That would have to be the way it is being done right now, via Instagram. Back then, if I remember, Abhinav, who was sitting in his first year, I would spend a lot of time on internet,
Mm-hmm.
and that used to be on Facebook, because I don't think Instagram was as popular back then. But
Yep.
yeah,
The internet. Right. So I have this question, right? So if the audience is following the Avalon team on Instagram, you guys know that there are little meme pages of Avalon dabs, like Avalon Army also posts some memes. So I find this very interesting because I haven't seen a single company yet which has done these kind of meme pages, and it's very clear that it's a great thing, and you guys are literally not letting the people forget Avalon even after they sort of exit the account. And even when I open the account of Varun, even open the account of Abhinav, right? So we have the suggested list, we have the Avalon dabs, we have the Avalon Army from which we get memes, and it clearly sheds more insight about Avalon in the form of humor, which is obviously great content. And I wanted to ask, like, what was the ideation behind this meme page, like initially, and who is running these meme pages?
you gotta understand the power of community. These meme pages were never a part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up showing. I mean, they showed up themselves, and no part of our active Avalon team, no employee of Avalon is running these meme pages. This is all user generated content, and you got to understand how user generated content actually gets started.
Mm-hmm.
It happens for a lot of people. It happens for a lot of brands, but I mean, it's a very it's a I wouldn't say it's a complex. It's not a complex concept to understand that how the community starts taking initiative, but it does happen. When your cause, or the pitch of your brand becomes a mass movement. When you make your narrative a mass movement, these kind of things start happening. The community, or the people who are a part of the movement, they start taking initiative, and that's what's happening right now. There's a lot of stuff that's being done by the community that we have no hands in. community relates to the narrative that is the anti-college narrative.
All right. Let's get to the main agenda of today's podcast, which is the fake digital media gurus. So my first question to that is how to separate the waste to reach the gold content, and how to identify if this person is fake.
What you got to understand is who are the people who fall prey to these people, the gullible ones.
Yep.
As long as you, I mean, the level of how gullible you are increases your vulnerability to be falling for these kind of people. And how do you stop being gullible? By being skeptical. And this is not this is not only happening with fake gurus, or this is not only happening in the digital marketing ecosystem. This is happening across fields and across places and across absolutely everything. I mean, there are con men everywhere. This is we used to hear stories about con men, that this guy conned me. Con men are everywhere, and they exist at different level of hierarchies, different level of social hierarchies, different demographies, and in different departments. So the only way to navigate, the only way to navigate such waters is to be skeptical. And just question, double question or cross question what you were being made to hear. And there's a very popular quote, that used to exist. That's out there. I don't know who said this, but they say, "Do not believe what you hear, and believe only half of what you see." And the skepticism is developed, over age. If you look at your parents, and if you look at your, the older someone grows, the stronger do the walls of skepticism develop in them.
Definitely.
However, the gullible people, if you look at these guys, the biggest demography of the crowd that these guys, kind of attack are the school-going kids. They show them their Lamborghinis and the millions of dollars and whatnot. The lifestyle of Dan Bilzerian. What is the demography that's after these kind of people? Predominantly the young people, or the lower strata of the society. The lower strata, are the people who do not the odd jobs, but the electricians or the plumbers, or the data entry guys. These are the guys who subscribe to this kind of pitch, because that's my understanding of the whole thing.
All right. You know what? Like the impact they might have on the field is like the people, even like the MLM scams that were happening, right? People are investing like 10,000 rupees, like 20,000 rupees for just like that MLM pitch that the money will like, sort of compound and all. And these people literally lost their money, right? And their whole outlook towards the, digital marketing or any sort of marketing is like, it seems like a scam, right? So what do you feel? What kind of impact will they have if they keep growing at the pace they are right now?
Dude, as I said, these guys exist in almost all fields. However, since the predominant field of, since the main area of operation of digital marketing is social media and digital platforms, that's the reason the visibility of these guys is at a different level. I don't know how. There are a few people. I think we're gonna have to tackle it like herd immunity. Enough people have to be infected by similar people to generate a popular opinion that these guys are actually scamsters.
All right. I wanted to ask this also, right? So there are a lot of ads running on the internet about drop shipping, like, get my course for drop shipping and you'll earn so much money. Do you think drop shipping really works like that? And if it does not work like that, how does it work? And if someone wants to be good at drop shipping, what should he actually do instead of, sort of buying that course?
Not very different from e-commerce.
Yeah.
Drop shipping. Okay, I'll tell you the simple. What I understand out of this fad called drop shipping. You basically let someone else manage your inventory. That someone could be sitting in China, and you can access them via AliExpress or Alibaba or one of these sites, and you let them process the inventory, and you do orders. You basically do sales for them via your Shopify website, right?
Yeah.
I think this happens in most of the businesses. In so many brands are just the front face. They don't represent the manufacturing units. They obviously, they take care of the logistics. Some people don't even do that. Some people are just brands, and they just fetch orders and they give it to the supplier, and the supplier fulfills the orders. And this is happening across many businesses. I think this is happening across a number of e-commerce businesses that are legit. Separating drop shipping from e-commerce, I don't think it makes sense. treat
Mm-hmm.
dropshipping like e-commerce. Build a legit brand around your store. Build, what do you say? Provide a decent customer support around your store, and just treat it like any other e-commerce brand.
All right. Like
there,
is.
there,
Mm-hmm.
there, there doesn't have to be any difference, because see, if you look at the majority of Indian headphone sellers or
Mm-hmm.
electronic electronic items companies like Eyeball and Boat and name a few more. I think Eyeball, Boat. There's this company called Muse or Musey. I don't know. There's so
Yeah.
many headphone companies that
Mm-hmm.
keep popping up on Amazon. What do you think? Do you think they have their own manufacturing plants? They do not. This is a trend that's always that's existed for so long. I mean, that's existed even during the pre-internet era. The calculators that we used to get, the solar charging
Mm-hmm.
calculators, the LED lights, all of these things are manufactured in China. And at the max, what the Indian companies do, they ensure that they get their own
Mm-hmm.
brand stamp on these products, and then they ship it like it's their own thing. But they have Eyeball has a brand, Boat has a brand, and Boat has a very strong brand. They've I think they've recruited half the Indian cricket team to be their brand
Yep.
ambassadors, even Jennifer Jacqueline Fernandez. So build a brand like that, and then do e-commerce as usual. I don't think drop shipping has to be anything different, and your drop shipping store wouldn't work unless you have a brand, unless you have the authenticity, unless you've built the trust that, okay, the product has a certain minimum guarantee, there is a replacement guarantee,
Mm-hmm.
there's a customer support that you're giving them, there is enough content on your website about how to use the product and how many people have used the product. So it's all about the trust game. I don't think there's anything beyond that. Treat it like e-commerce and go replicate
Mm-hmm.
brands that are doing well on e-commerce. There are so many brands in India that are doing well on e-commerce. And if you want some very classic examples, go check out Supreme's e-commerce store,
Mm-hmm.
and
All right.
see the elements that they use on their store, see the ads that they do. Dropshipping doesn't have to be any different from any business.
All right. Like there's a lot of this sort of a fad about the influencer management agency going on in India, right? So what do you feel, will these agencies sustain, or will there be some tool or some app which will just automate all the sort of the logistics that they are sort of taking care of?
I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat yourself, please?
Yep. So there's this fad of influencer management agencies, right? So it's very popular now, everybody is trying to start an influencer management agency. What do you think, will this agency sort of sustain, or will there be an automated tool which will handle all the logistics between the brand and the influencer?
Dude, I think we've anyway. How do you think the current infrastructure works?
Like you
That,
mean
that that's a question from me to you.
infrastructure as in between the influence and the brand, right?
Correct. What do you think is the current scenario?
Right, so we did influencer marketing in the past, like a few months ago. So there was this thing called, they have this legal contract in a video. For example,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a video on YouTube. We did it with a YouTuber, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so you just first pitch that person. If he has a manager already, you pitch that to the manager. If he doesn't, that guy didn't have a manager, so we talked to him. We made a legal contract on that basis, like this video, that video, and like a proper invoice and stuff. And that video got published, and yeah, there's nothing much more in that involved. There's not much sort of work in that until
So
unless
how do
it's.
you think? Where
Mhm.
do you think is the scope of further automation?
I
I
think
mean,
it will get
where is the
automated.
human work here then?
Exactly. Like that's why I feel like this question. I asked this question to Barun as well. I asked this question to the Pancho as well in the previous podcast. They were all like there will be some sort of a a tool or a website which will have the influencer on in.
Indeed. I mean, I'm saying, where is the human work here? There is not much human work here. Humans only get involved. Humans should only get involved when the contract value is massive. Like if I'm approaching Tanmay Bhatt,
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm approaching Virat Kohli, then it makes sense for Virat Kohli to have a manager. What do you think Virat Kohli's manager or Tanmay Bhatt's manager? What do you think is their full-time job? They just ensure what kind of partnerships they should be a part of, what kind of contract they should
Mm-hmm.
what kind of contracts they should be a part of, how is the partnership adding value to their brand image, how is how is it affecting them? I mean, what's the monetary aspect of it? What is the future in-kind aspect of it? This is the humans are only there for due diligence, because when you approach Virat Kohli, the deal is in crores. If I want Virat Kohli to put an Instagram post, then the deal is in at least a few lakhs. I mean, at least tens of lakhs, or at least somewhere around a crore. So that's where you need humans, because I can't approach Virat Kohli by going through a web portal. When the contract value increases, then you need humans. But for contract values of around lakh, that is the going rate, I think, in the YouTube industry. If a
Yep.
person has around 100K followers, for him to make a video for you, it'll cost a lakh. So for that kind of stuff, I think the prospecting can happen online over platforms, and then they can have a video call to just agree on the terms, and everything else can happen again via DocSend or
All right.
DocuSign kind of softwares.
Yep. We discussed like about how digital marketing is not as, it's not as easy as it seems, as these most of the fake digital media gurus show on their Instagram pages. Just tell us, what is real digital marketing then? What is the real digital marketing, and what skills does a person require if he wants to get into a digital marketing completely?
Dude, okay. So this is something I am going to address. This is something I'm going to address with regards to the latest debate that's come up. That is, how much of digital marketing is going to get automated.
All
And
right.
I've made a video about it. I've spoken about, how there
Yep.
are so many tools that do the redundant job for you. That is media buying. Like, I can actually, put a tool like Reveal Bot or something more advanced like Hunch Ads, and I can let them do the media buying for me, and I can set conditions as to when to scale, and when the competition is too high, when to kind of duck low and wait for the wave to pass, and when to ride the wave. I can do all of these settings via a software. I don't need a media buyer anymore. So there are so many things that are definitely getting automated, but if you look at it, this was always the low level job. Media buying, you running Facebook ads wasn't ever the core fundamental of marketing. It was more of an operations thing. I used to make uh I would make someone sit, sort of a data entry guy would sit down and follow my instructions. This is just like stock trading. What do you have to do on stock trading? You have to analyze, you have to keep monitoring trends, and wait for your trend to come up, and then cash in on that. That is what media buying is. And this wasn't ever marketing. So these kind of jobs are definitely getting automated. All the low level jobs are definitely getting automated. But what actually remains is the jobs at the top. That is planning and strategy. And I'll tell you what I mean by planning and strategy. See, any product on digital today uh, works a lot around around user flows. If you understand user flows, there are basically different stages that you make your customer go through before you make them a customer. Right? In Meta, it is you make the customer go through content and community before you actually introduce Pro League to them. Right? So this is what this user flow is what multiple businesses are built on. And at the end of the day, what is the job of a software or an app? The software or an app is basically an ecosystem where these user flows that can contain these user flows, where multiple users can come, and they can traverse through these user flows, and churn a business result for the company. Are you following me? Are you following what I'm saying?
Yep.
So this is what this is what digital is all about. Building a digital product or an app is mostly about this, and this is what will this is a skill. This is a sort of a mindset that you gotta develop when you're a marketer as well, because you're doing all of this not inside the app, but from but from the outside. You're using multiple channels like email, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. And you're tracking. There are so many analytics tools. You can track what stages your user is traversing, and you can shape the user flow in such a way that is beneficial to you, that's going to churn out a certain result for you. So master the art of user flows. That is one thing that you got to understand. That this is a very cross
Mm-hmm.
There's a big crossover between product manager, UX designer, and a digital marketer who works on user flows. Because you're in all of these things, you're dealing predominantly with how to sequence the experience that a customer has.
All
Do you
right.
get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
The product manager, user experience designer, as well as a digital marketer, their job is to sequence,
Mm-hmm.
create a sequence of experiences that your customer goes through. Who's going to decide this sequence? I think,
Mm-hmm.
that is the problem statement that's always going to remain. To
Yep.
find the best sequence, creating the sequence is not a big problem. Once you've decided, then it's great. And with automation coming in, you can rapidly test multiple sequence super fast. You don't need a web developer or someone to uh, make landing pages for you, or
Mm-hmm.
to make pop-up boxes, or email opt-ins. So that kind of stuff,
Yep.
that kind of stuff has anyway been low level. But the decision making stuff, the executive level stuff, the managerial roles are always going to be there, because they involve certain level of risk tolerance,
Mm-hmm.
and empathy towards the user, as well as obligation towards the business goals. So that kind
Definitely.
of stuff is always going to remain. And again, this sequencing the experiences that a user goes through doesn't only happen infrastructurally. I mean, it doesn't only have to happen via Facebook. I mean, it doesn't have. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not only about interacting with the multiple forms of media.
Yep.
It also happens with the narrative that you've built, the overarching narrative that you've built for the user. What story you're telling them.
Yep.
So you can obviously, I mean, writing the story and making the creative isn't the most complex thing, but
Definitely.
deciding what to do, and then rapidly testing them, and then coming to the winning narrative and the winning sequence, that's going to be the job. So I think in future, if you have two very capable people, someone who can take care of the storytelling and the brand building, and this happens psychologically, and
Mm-hmm.
second, someone who can take care of the actual experience on ground, I think you've got your marketing team built. So these two guys have to be on the top there
Mm-hmm.
anyway. Even now in the organizations, you'll find these two kind of guys: the creative director and the I think the CMO. These guys anyway sit on the top. CMO kind of aligns all the efforts to businesses, and creative director ensures the narrative is right and the positioning is right. You anyway find these guys sitting on the
Mm-hmm.
top. The low level people are kind of assistants to these guys, and they are hands to
Yep.
these guys' brains. So though the hands, I think you will see will get automated via uh, GPT-3.
Definitely. Yep, that's a new running debate right now. Anyways,
Yes,
like
sir.
we are almost like that at the end of the podcast. The last thing I want you to say is the last piece of advice to entry level digital marketers.
Level of device advice to entry level digital marketers. Guys, understand the fundamentals, and do not sign up for a job that is going to diminish your growth, or that's going to put you in a role that's very repetitive. Just don't get into a role that's very repetitive. I think if I must simplify this, simplify my advice, I would say become good thinkers
Hmm.
and become good communicators, and learn how to communicate what you want to humans for now. Eventually you'll have to communicate this to bots eventually, but you got to know what you want, and you got to communicate that clearly. And to know what you want, you got to think clearly.
Hmm.
So do these two things, and get as many experiences across fields. Get your hands dirty across fields, just for it, just for a limited amount of time, but don't get stuck into a repetitive role.
All right. It's been great talking to you, Abhinav. Thanks for coming in. So if you guys
Cool,
like
buddy.
this podcast, just
Thank you
hit
so
that like
much.
button, and if you're new, subscribe for podcast, and also follow Abhinav Arora on Instagram. I'll link all his social media in the description, and also install the Avalon Meta app. It's amazing. I've tested it. It's amazing. All right. On that note, peace out.